to the What Coast Wools podcast. Today is January 26, 2017, and it is episode 20? Is that, wow, that's 20, that's a lot of episodes. Welcome to everybody who is joining us new, and welcome to everybody who is coming back to spend some more time with us. My name is Glenda. You can find me on Instagram as glendamedonald and on Ravelry as Glenda. And this is...
I'm Bernadette, otherwise known as Eco Geek. And we're coming to you from Wet Coast Wools, LYS in Vancouver. And you can find the store as Wet Coast Wools on everything.
Oh, we're even on TripAdvisor. I got my first notification of, like, you know, your week on the stats updates, like when you have places. But you can go review us on TripAdvisor if you want to.
My brain just imagining people leaving joke horrible reviews like they do, like with Amazon products that are stupid.
Oh.
Please don't do that.
No, please don't.
Yeah, how are you, Glenda?
I am good. I'm trying not to look down. I was watching the last couple of episodes and I'm doing this the whole time, like staring at my, and I realized part of that was there was one episode where I was literally picking up a heel as we were talking. So I started the sock that has like nothing to it so that I'm not picking up heels, and now I have to really try not to stare at my knitting because that's just boring.
Makes sense. I only have one major faux this week. Do you want to go? You want to go first and do yours, and then I'll do mine?
Sure. So my first faux was all of the rest of my roosters that you saw some of last week, and I don't have them with me because they are all hiding in our store window. But I have a video clip that was on Instagram a while ago, which I will give to Bernadette to put into this video.
So many video clips this week.
I know, it's gonna be fun. So in the end, I did make my 17 roosters for the year of the rooster, which starts on this Saturday on the 28th. And I have where did I write this down now? There it is. So of the 17, there was one big one who's Cornelius, who appeared in the last episode. Sorry, boring.
No, I'm sorry. It's so early.
And then I did 14 of the tiny chicken roosters. So it's the pattern from Mochi Mochi Land, and you slightly adapt it to give them the little like waddle thing under their chin so they look like roosters. And then I did 2 that were actually giant tiny chicken, just by basically same pattern, and I just doubled the worsted weight yarn and made it thicker and bigger needles, and so they're like twice the size of the tiny chickens.
And one's green.
Yes, he's the cornflakes rooster.
No, he's the Hulk tiny chicken.
Okay, that too. He was supposed to be the cornflakes rooster, but he does look more like the Hulk one.
It's mainly also just because he's huge.
Yes.
And now I have also pinned him to an Inukshuk, so he looks like
he actually pulled the Inukshuk down. I had to take him off it.
No!
I left the other night and looked in the window, and like the Inukshuk and the rooster and one other rooster had fallen down. They fell down the mountain.
I shall support them somehow. I'll put like a wood stick behind it or something like we do with Santa.
I think it's because the top of the mountain, which I'm looking at off to my left, it's not stable. It's not straight. So and the Inukshuk is not hugely stable, and then having the rooster, it just kind of throws the balance off. Plus, anytime you like walk by there or bump it or anything, it's just kind of goes careening off the mountaintop. Anyway, I'm rambling now. My next faux that I will show you quickly are just little mittens for Greta. This is for my friend's little girl. She apparently was obsessed with my friend's fingerless.
It's like they're not going to fit on you.
Greta's obsessed with her mother's, who's my friend, her fingerless mittens. So I made her a pair of her own. And this is just the world's simplest mitten pattern from Tin Can Knits, which they released just before Christmas. And I just adapted it. So basically did the thumb and then did like a purl ridge and then the cast off. And then I just put a bit of ribbing at the top. And that's all. And I haven't tried them on her yet. I haven't seen her. So I'm hoping they fit. If not, we can always make more. Because I did them in like a day. They're super quick. And the yarn is Diamond Tradition, which is machine washable, tumble dry safe, worsted weight. And I think it was 4mm needles. I can't remember.
Probably. I think that's what the maze ones were done on. So
Yeah,
if you use the same needle size, it'll
yeah.
be around the same.
So, yeah. Do you want to go with yours now, or do you want me to do one more?
Just do yours and then I'll...
Okay. So my last
talk about
one, because apparently I'm starting a trend of a new sweater every podcast. It's not going to continue.
Don't say that. I'm going to try legitimately to have a new sweater every podcast.
Are you really?
Well, I think so. Well, I've got 2 so far.
My body hurts too much. I can't. So this is
I'm young and stupid.
the Sheboygan cardigan, which does not have buttons yet and is still wet.
Yeah, I was like, I can smell it.
Can you?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, it smells like wet wool and a little bit of grapefruit because that's my ukulele. I could put it on. I'll put it on over my sweater. So I made this out of some Briggs & Little Atlantic, which is a bulky weight wool, and I got it at the January guild meeting. Somebody had donated it to the yarn sale. So it's like less than 7 skeins. And you can see it goes like this, and I love it. The only thing is I screwed it up, and I think I picked up too many stitches. In fact, I did pick up too many stitches on the button band. When it was not blocked, it was all like, as Bernadette said, bacony, which I'd never heard as an expression before.
It's a Knitmore Girls thing. They talk about like cheap t-shirts, how the necks get bacony.
Oh,
so
right.
It was the same sort of thing. It was like,
woo! Yeah, and so it blocked out a bit better, but you can see at the bottom like it's like on my toes so you can actually see me. It sticks out too long, so there's too many stitches through here. So I think I'm actually going to rip it out and then redo that. But otherwise it's really nice and I really like it, and it's really fun. And I was obsessed with knitting it, which is why I did it so fast. And then my whole body decided to quit on me and say, your shoulders are really sore and everything's really sore.
Well, once I was done knitting that giant grandpa cardigan, like, there's something about having to hold both needles and do this. You're like, maybe not so much.
It's funny because I did my sleeves as I usually do on Magic Loop. And I was using a 6.5mm needle on the sleeves. And something about magic looping with the 2 sleeves and the weight of the sweater in my shoulders this one is bugging me so badly. So I'm not knitting big things this week or next week. But I'll talk about that later. Yeah. So that's all. Cool. It's your turn. So I find my knitting that fell down on the floor.
So my main finished it's my only finished object. I only have one this week. Now that feels like a failure to me that I've only finished one thing. Is my Gamaldags sweater that I was working on last time that was just a black tube. Now it's actually exciting. So I have the color work on the cuffs and then the rest is black, so I'm not going to really stand up. I haven't blocked it yet, so that's why this is strange. But it's the Gamaldags sweater by Hélène Magnússon, and I knit it out of some Lopi that our Icelandic friend left for us when she moved back to Iceland very rudely. But because I've been wanting to knit a Lopi sweater forever, and as you guys saw last time, I knit the whole thing in the round, and then I steeked it. And so everybody can relive the magic that is steeking a sweater. I filmed the cutting for you. That did not help my hair at all.
It was funny watching her film the cutting because she was very much paranoid.
Well,
dropped a stitch.
There's a reason for all of you who don't know, steeking is when you put in a purposeful. Well, you can do it without putting a panel in, but I put in 3 purl stitches in the front of the sweater. So I could cut it in half, because it makes it easier to work the color work in the round, as opposed to purling in color work, which I've done before and was the bane of my existence. So I will put in the steeking video now. So, I hope no one's horribly traumatized from having to watch a bit of steeking, but it was really fun. I don't know if when I was carrying my floats across the steek, I didn't do things properly, but I had one, like, in this area, I had a couple of stitches that looked like they may have come loose, because it's my first time steeking a sweater, so what I did is I took a needle felting needle, and needle felted the steek a little bit, just for a bit of security, and then underneath I've whip stitched it under.
I was thinking about that after, and I wonder if it would help to have a wider steeking panel, like 2 extra stitches, because then, like, that end, it's more trapped across more stitches. So when you cut it, still got 1 extra stitch in there to hold it in place.
Maybe, but if I'd only done one, then I could have just done it all in the solid color, and then it wouldn't have been. Yeah. I don't know. So I took a steeking class with Raga Eriksdottir. Okay. My Icelandic is awful. I want to be Icelandic, but I have no pronunciation abilities. So Raga came and taught a steeking class 2 Knit Cities ago, so 2015. And I just got around to using the skills now. So to refresh my memory, she has a clip from her Craftsy class on YouTube, where she talks about how to reinforce with a crocheted steek in the way that I did it, which I'll link in the doobly-doo and in the show notes. If anyone wants to do a crocheted steek. Also the pattern that we're using for the crochet, or for the steeking class for the store, the Steek This Coffee Cozy pattern also has a crocheted steeking tutorial. There's a couple of different, there's a few different tutorials online, so when I filmed it I didn't walk anybody through it. But yeah, so that's that, and to go along with the sweater, we're going to do a Know Your Wool section!
Pick a sound effect for that.
I have both of those.
All right, then.
Yeah, I was like, it's a sheep thing, and then the same, like, craft all the things.
Okay, cool.
Banner. So, I'm just going to grab my notes so I don't get any of this wrong. As previously stated, no one make fun of my ability to speak in Icelandic. So, Lopi itself means unspun wool. Because the Lopi wool, the sheep, which I'll put a picture in of, is it's a dual-coated sheep. The outer coat, which is called, as I look down at my notes, the outer coat, which is called tog, it's glossy and water repellent and has a longer staple to it. And then the undercoat, which is soft, is called thel, but it's spelt with funny Icelandic letters. It's fine staple length, and then it's insulated and very airy. So this is very, very warm, but it's also very, very light. Like the 50-gram balls of Icelandic wool, I think they're like 104 of them was like 800 meters, I think.
4 of the 50 gram?
No, sorry, no, 8 of them.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
There's
so
like 100 and something meters per ball, right?
Yes.
Just over 100, basically.
Yeah. So, I clearly should have put this in a more cohesive order. So originally, the reason Lopi's called Lopi is because you originally could knit it without having to spin it. There's still a type of Lopi wool called Plateau Lopi that's in giant cakes that's still sold in the unspun
that's carded at least, though, right?
Yeah, but you can't knit right off the sheep, obviously,
No,
but you could, you wouldn't have to spin it. You could knit it right from roving, which I should have brought a sample of the Lopi with me, but Lopi.
I just found my leftover Plateau Lopi too. I could have brought it.
There you go. We did not think about this. But Lopi, or at least the Let Lopi, it looks like it's a single ply, but it's 2 very fine plies together. But because of the strength of the wool and the dual coatedness of the sheep, you don't need to spin it, which is really cool. And I'm legitimately roasting to death. But what's really cool about the Icelandic sheep is that they've been in Iceland for so long that they're a very isolated breed. They were brought, I don't know if they were brought over by Vikings or it's just been that one type of sheep in Iceland. I think they were brought over because without the Icelandic sheep, it would have been impossible to populate Iceland. The sheep provided fiber for garments and meat, milk. So without this very isolated specific type of sheep, it would have been impossible for life on Iceland to have been a thing. So the sheep are a very large part of the Icelandic community, which is really, really cool. especially to knitters. Like, you go to the grocery store and there's like Lopi in wool in the grocery store. Trying to think. Yeah. Oh yeah. So it was illegal to import other breeds, which is why they're isolated. Forgot to mention that. So you couldn't bring other sheep breeds in, so it's just been that one breed of sheep sitting in Iceland forever, which is really awesome. You only started exporting them, I think, in the 70s or 80s. Future me will correct myself.
Which is probably why there was that huge, like, around that time, there was that big thing of the trend of Icelandic sweaters, and everybody was wearing them.
I don't think so.
Oh.
It was because it was only like one or two farms
really?
around the world. It wasn't like there was one in Ontario.
Oh, you mean the actual sheep were exported?
Yeah.
Or okay, so the yarn would have been available outside.
Oh yeah.
Okay, never mind.
No,
Ignore
just like
me
the
then.
sheep.
Just ignore me.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's minimal processing of the fleeces, which keeps the wool very, very sheepy and allows it to retain the natural kind of water-resistant properties of the outer coat of the sheep. And what's really cool, so this Lopi was processed by a mill called Istex, which is where it's the one mill in Iceland that processes all the Lopi yarn, but it's partially owned by a co-op of sheep farmers that own Lopi sheep, which I think is really, really cool. That they're part of the process. I think it is also privately run, but like in theory, the sheep owners would have some sort of say in the running of the company, which I think is really awesome. And yeah, it's a very sticky wool. It's extremely rustic.
It's very prickly.
It is, yeah. Like, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt under this, and I won't lie, it's a little bit much for me. And I haven't washed it yet, so it will soften a little bit when I wash it and block it out, but it's still like, you don't wear them next to your skin. It's supposed to be a layer that you wear between yourself and your coat to add an extra warm layer. Like today, it's not cold here, but like I didn't wear any gloves, a hat, or a scarf or anything. I just had this and then my coat. In Iceland, obviously, you would need more. But, so yeah, that's my Lopi sweater. Traditionally, if I'd done this in traditional colors, it would have been like more traditional. My Norwegian friend made fun of me.
Oh, really?
Because he's like, in Norwegian sweaters, it would be more reds, blues, and whites.
Oh, right.
Icelandic sweaters are traditionally like the natural shades of Lopi. So like browns and whites and grays and things like that. And then he's just like, this feels like a very Canadian version of an Icelandic sweater. But yeah, so this is my Lopapeysa sweater, which means sweater in Icelandic.
So the one thing, I was just thinking, the one thing that Suna told me about knitting with Lopi is that this yarn eventually does stretch a bit. And she was saying when she makes sweaters, like she made a sweater for her father, I think it was, and she made it like almost 2 sizes smaller than it needed to be, and by the time he'd worn it a few times, it just stretches out and then it ends up the right size. And I have this cardigan shawl, or it's a shrug sort of thing that I knit, and it's a strand of Plati Lopi and a strand of the Einband, which is the lace weight one, and it definitely has stretched. Like I can tell. I wish I had known that beforehand, because I might have made it a little smaller.
See, what's funny is like this one was supposed to have more negative ease, but it fits really well, so I'm now like a little bit afraid about it. But
stretch it, like when you wash it, pull it long, and then it'll stay narrow.
The sleeves are a scooch short, so that'll be the plan. Now this is really bothering me because this doesn't match.
Just pretend you're me, and then I never get the buttons done up in the right straight line anyway, so it works out.
And I put antler buttons on this.
They're very cool antler buttons.
And felt appropriate. I think, so if anyone has any other questions about Lopi, I think I covered all of the things. But yeah, dual coated sheep, nice and light, but very, 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 very warm. Like, it just needs to be slightly warmer, and I could just wear this with a scarf. And this is a worsted weight sweater. Like, I can only imagine knitting, like, they have a bulkier version than this, a bulky Lopi sweater.
Yeah. Like, well, there's even 2 thicknesses more, right? Because this is a let Lopi.
Yeah.
And then there's the standard Lopi, which is thicker, and then there's the bulky Lopi, which is like super bulky.
No, the let Lopi's the middle one. It's the worsted weight.
No, the regular Lopi is thicker.
This is the regular Lopi, though. They only have like a bulky weight after this.
No, there's one in the middle. There's the 3 weights of it. Let Lopi's the lightest one. Trust me,
Is an Einband the thinnest one?
That's another thinner one, even again.
Okay. I don't believe you, but okay.
I'll show you on Ravelry. We used to sell it at another yarn store that I worked at. Plus, I have the bulky Lopi in my stash at home, and it's properly super bulky.
That's crazy pants.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it is Iceland.
It gets cold there.
It's true. I was talking to Suna about like why there isn't like a Lopi nylon sock yarn, and she's like, I was thinking like a fingering weight, and she was like, "It's Iceland. You need thick socks." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense."
And they have that, like I have that one skein that she left behind, but it, like you say, it's a worsted weight nylon and wool blend.
Yeah, because my brain's like, this would wear amazing for socks, but yeah, it makes sense. It's Iceland. You probably wouldn't want fingering weight socks. Okay. And we're back.
Yay!
I
had to stop for coffee, sorry.
So, I have more whips than Glenda, so I'm gonna go first. I'll start with the one that I was working on. It's not terribly exciting from the last time you guys saw it, because I just separated from the sleeves, but I thought I'd show it because Jane's coming for a visit.
Yay!
And I'm hoping to get more of this knit. Yeah, so this is my Clark pullover. It now has sleeves. It's not just a weird blob.
We should have you model for us. It's a super crop top.
Yeah, just like, it's anime-tastic. Just like barely, tons of underboob. But yeah, so this is my Clark pullover. Knitting it out of the Tracy 2 by Imperial, which is a Columbia wool, which we will probably do a New Year wool on in the future. I might have this done by next podcast. I can't remember how my classes align, because this is for a class that for a class that I'm teaching for the store. So I need to knit along with class. But now I can knit through the body now that we separated for the sleeves, and yeah, it's terribly exciting at this point because I forgot it here for a couple of days, so it hasn't gotten a lot of love. Should I just power through?
Yeah, as well. I'll try and find amusing comments to add to stay in the conversation.
So
these are for me. They're absolutely for me. This next one. She doesn't know yet. She's gonna give them to me tonight.
Trust me, you never know. Although the ribbing's loose enough that it's probably your style. So they're still a little bit wet because I panically blocked these yesterday. So this year, a couple of different podcasts have been doing like a New Year, New You, she pun type of thing where they want you to like try a thing that's been on your knitting bucket list. Steeking a sweater was one of mine, and my other one was knitting colorwork socks. So I have now knit one.
Yay!
I now have to knit the other one, and I just want to knit all of them. All the colorwork socks. I have like a queue now.
You're getting me into them too now. I was actually looking at colorwork patterns on Ravelry yesterday, so there's clearly something wrong here.
Look it. So these were a pattern that it's called
Denenbaum.
Yeah, Denenbaum. I'm not sure.
That one too.
I'm not sure why she called it this, but they're by Renee. Oh, I know you watch Renee. I'm sorry if I'm getting your last name wrong, but Renee Keys. If I'm getting your last name pronunciation wrong, please send me a PM and I will fix it. But these are her pattern. They are super, super fun and I love them so much. The green is just some Cascade Heritage, and it's called Christmas Green, which is great. Sorry for weird lighting. Lighting does weird things in the store. And then the grayish, bluish kind of color is the little yellow uke that I won in the Summer of Socks Cal. So this has barely been in my stash like a couple of months, and I'm getting it knit up. This one is a BFL nylon, and then the green is a merino nylon. And I haven't cast on the second one yet, but we'll get that cast on soon. I powered through this. Whoa. Weird lighting things. Oh. This is why we shouldn't have filmed in this corner.
Yeah, I forgot that this light does that. It's one of the those long lights, you know, what are they? The fluorescence. Yeah, and it can't decide if it wants to fail or not.
Okay, well if it gets worse, we might have to move. Yeah. Just so we don't give people a stroke. Or a seizure.
Seizures, yeah, that's what it would do.
So yeah, colorwork socks. So this is my first ever colorwork sock. It is a little bit tight over the arch. But when I was blocking it, I may have put it on my foot several times to try and stretch this area out, and it seems to have helped. In the pattern, she does a 70 stitch sock on a 2.75 millimeter needle. It's a free pattern, so I'm not like giving away any secret sauce or anything, but that would have been ginormous on my foot, because normally I do a 60 stitch on a 2.25. So what I did is I did my 60 stitch on a 2.75, and then I did the toe and the heel flap with a 2.5 millimeter needle. I should have done the ribbing on that as well, which I will on the next one because it's kind of floppy. And after the heel flap, because the tree is a 10 stitch pattern, so I couldn't really like play with the numbers too much. But after the heel flap, I decreased to 64 instead of 60 to give me a bit more wiggle room because I knew it was tight going over the arch. But yeah, it's a work in progress in getting my perfect colorwork sock, but I'm so happy about these. And now she has another pattern called the lumberjack socks that are like a faux plaid that I want to knit. And then the Astrid socks that have been on the front page of Ravelry.
Before long, you'll be knitting Argyle socks.
No, I refuse to knit Intarsia socks. That's stupid. So I need to get a few more things off my needles before I cast on more colorwork socks, but I think what I'll need to do is have like vanilla socks on the needles for Brian, and then like fun colorwork socks for me, because getting the sock fit down for me is more important. Yeah, yay! Sock of happiness. I'm so happy with this. And it is still kind of wet, so it doesn't, it's a little bit floppy. I need to get better sock blockers. These are not the right size. I am. Okay. So that's that. So the vanilla sock I've been knitting. So Brian and I have gotten very into watching anime lately. Because we've got this app on our PlayStation called Crunchyroll, which is like Netflix for anime. And because it's all subtitled, so there are dubbed versions of it if you do want to watch anime that's dubbed. But I've noticed that the dubs are normally very bad. So we've just been doing subtitled stuff. So because I've been circling back around and not rambling, so I've needed to knit on something vanilla, so these guys have gotten a lot of work done on them. I'm partially through heel. So these are just some plain toe-up vanilla socks out of Knit Picks Felici. It obviously doesn't match up at all. It's just slightly off. These, I'm doing a little OMG heel in them. Yeah, they're pretty basic. It's the teacup colorway. And I've heard podcasters talk about this before, and I've never had the issue. So this giant stripe is supposed to be 2 colors, but it's pretty clearly like one.
Oh, did they like miss a color repeat?
I don't know, because like on other ones, like you can kind of tell that it's supposed to be 2 shades, and then the other ones it's just a giant block, and like
it's like they missed the dyeing somehow. I would say there was not enough dye in the machine when they were trying to dye that section.
Yeah, like I know that. Okay, so Knit Picks Felici it's not like the world's most highest quality self striping, but it's really nice and soft. And in the future, like or in the past, like some of their white sections have like it's not pure white, and there's a little bit of like mismatched colors or whatever. And like I don't expect perfection from it, but this makes me mad. This giant section of just like blob. Like I wouldn't have minded it. It's just like it's really out of proportion, and it bugs me.
See one of them?
Yeah, there.
Because
it
really
some of them it looks like it's supposed to be the other ones, and then like this one for example, it's all just one.
It almost looks like it's supposed to be a whiter, like a lighter color, and maybe the dye ran or injected too soon or something.
Yeah, because that one looks like it could be 2 colors.
Here you can
but this
see
one is
almost
not at all. Like that's one color.
I don't know. You can almost see there's like a white and gray sort of. I don't know. Well, you won't be able to see it there.
Yeah, I was
but
like,
you can almost you can almost see it in the camera that there's a slight change between there and there.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be 2 colors, and like I've seen this colorway on other podcasts before, and sometimes it's not that bad, but that's pretty bad. I don't know if it'll stop me from buying Felici in the future, just because it's really pretty, and from what I've seen on the newer ones, they don't do this where they put 2 very similar colors close to each other, because I'm wondering if they heard us all complaining about it. But yeah, because like I love the Felici. It's really nice and soft. It is a merino nylon, so like any merino sock yarn, it stretches out as you wear it. But I love it, and the colors are so fun, and just this annoys me. It has tainted the socks a little bit for me. Not as in love with them as I was previously, but yeah, they do match my Dapper Cat bag perfectly. I realize now that like we're super blown out now because of this light.
Oh,
like all the colors are wrong. Sorry for the oh, that made it worse.
Oh yeah, don't have it focus on a dark thing. Tap on there we go, that's better. Has to focus on something farther away.
Not my skin, apparently.
Well, no, I don't know. I think it's overcompensating because the black sweater, like it was filling in the light. You know what I mean?
Oh, probably.
Because it was too dark.
Okay, and my last whip is a sample knit I'm doing for Sylvia McFadden, aka Soft Sweater. And I'm slacking really hard on this. I'm sorry, Sylvia.
I'm hoping she comes by and drop in today.
That'd be good. Hopefully. Well, yes and no, because I'm...
Because you're not ready yet?
I'm not as farther done on this. She, like, when she told me about this, she gave me, like, a long deadline. I'm like, oh, cool, I can finish some other things, because I wanted to finish this and, like, one of the colorwork socks. So this is one of her upcoming designs. I'm in the middle of a row. But because of the textured stitch, I don't get as much time to... I want to focus and make sure I don't mess it up. So I haven't gotten as much focus knitting time. But, guys, oh, that looks great. So that is the back side, but all my stitch markers are on the front side. So it's kind of like a reverse stocking stitch kind of triangular shawl.
That's right.
This is the front. It's done in Malabrigo Rios in the Sandbank colorway, and a really nice tight gauge, because then that really makes those pop. So it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be asymmetrical or symmetrical, so I just have to do this one repeat a bunch of times, which is what these guys are. It's showing the repeat so I can keep track of it and report back to Sylvia. But I'm really enjoying the knit, and yeah, it's really nice, and I need to focus on it and get more done now that I've gotten the stuff done for the podcast. So hopefully it'll be done. Hopefully it'll be done for next podcast, and maybe she'll let me keep it and show you, and then I can give it to her.
She just has to photograph it, and then...
Yeah, it also has to be aggressively blocked. I assume Nicola will do the blocking, but if she comes by, I have to ask. Anyhoozle, so I'm very excited about that. The design will probably be coming out in April, I think, which is why she wanted me to have it done by April. I really don't want to take that long on that. I can't have something on my needles for that long that isn't a scruffy blanket, or a fingering weight sweater of doom. But yeah, so
wait, you have a fingering weight sweater of doom?
It's the April.
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah.
The sweater that's been on my needles for about...
Since last April.
May. I started it in May. I wanted to start it in April, but that didn't happen. But yeah, like I want to cast on like a bunch of sweaters and stuff, but I want to get this off the needles first. But yeah, that's all I got. I think that's all she wrote. What do you have, Madame?
I am... So, okay, I'll do this in a different order than I was going to, because I'm in the middle of this row. After finishing that sweater in not enough time, and my body says it doesn't want to do anything, plus I've had a crazy week and I'm not exercising like I should be, so my back is complaining. So now we're only going to knit small things for 2 weeks, because I don't need any, like, I need to, like, have better posture and less of this and less of this. So... on that note, I've told myself no more cast-ons until I finish 6 pairs of socks. 4 of those already have 1 sock of each done. So one of them, I'll have to go, this is my Turtle Pearl. Oh, you can actually see the colors today. Look at that. So this is the one I had from last week. You can tell I worked on it like none all week. Vanilla sock, 68 stitches, 2.25s. Yay, DPNs. And... did I do... yeah, I guess I just did a heel flap. The other one, excuse my reaching. That was the other one, the hoe that I showed you last week.
That's not a Christmas sock bag.
No, because, you know why? Because these are the high sharps, and the bag that they were in, every time I stuck my hand in my shoulder bag that I was holding them in, I would get stabbed to the extent that I still have a mark. See, I drew blood and, like, scarred myself with them.
You need DPN, a DPN cozy.
I was just looking at, because this week I also organized all my fabric. Well, actually, it was basically I cleaned up my office, which required organizing my fabric so I could put it away. And I would have all of the fabric I need to use now, so I was just looking online for a tutorial on how to make those things.
There you go.
Because I do need one. So yeah, that's one sock that I'm working on, and the other socks that I'm working on, that's what I was doing before, and I've just put it behind me. There it is. It's cotton. It has, all of a mustache length. Woohoo. Here we go. See, mustache.
Questionable style mustache.
Yes, exactly. And these ones you've seen before. So, I mean, this is Patons yarn. Here's the other one. That's what it will look like when it's finished. But see, I have a lot of these. I have all these pairs of socks where one sock is finished and the other one is not. And so I need to finish them all before I can cast on anything else. That's my goal. And you guys can hold me to it. If you see me Instagramming about new things or adding projects to my Ravelry page, you're allowed to scold me politely. If there's such a thing. So I've been working on those. I also have been working on my RA blanket that I showed, the blanket that I showed last week. So look, it's like, here, do you want to grab one? Mm-hmm. It's got 4 rows in it now. Almost, 5 rows actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can't count. So this is the Weekender blanket.
I was trying to like pop up the edge so it wasn't flopping over.
Yeah.
So punching it was the solution.
Weekender blanket, it's Patons Astra that was donated to the guild, and it's making the blanket for the Variety Club to give to one of either Ronald McDonald House or something similar. And it's just, the colors are all, the placement of them is determined by the random stripe generator. I think I talked about it last week. I used the weighted random stripe generator to make up a bunch of stripes, and then in my grid work I have a printout of how the plan is going to look, and I just went through each stripe equaled one hexagon. So it's super fun, and my husband says it looks like it looks like a Calgary Flames blanket because the colors.
It does a little. It does a little bit.
So maybe I'll get a little boy who likes the Calgary Flames. I don't know.
I was like, it also kind of looks like ketchup and mustard.
Yes,
and if it's going to Ronald McDonald House, it's appropriate.
I need to put a little hamburger in it somewhere. But yeah,
crochet a little hamburger applique and just put it on one of the grays.
Monique found me another ball of the gray that someone was in the donation pile, so I'm going to be able to I want to like square out the edges where you do the half hexies. Haven't done that on any of my other blankets yet, but I think I'll do it on this one, and then I'll probably put another border on it. But yeah, so it's kind of fun. I get on a kick, and then I do like 3 or 4 rows. Well, let's say 2 rows, because that's all it was when I was working on it. And then I got bored, and then I put it away again. But it folds. It's a proper blanket now. And yeah, hopefully I'll have that finished soon, and then I can put the border on it during Stash Dash, so I get all the yardage during Stash Dash.
You're going to wait all the way to Stash Dash to give it to them?
I don't think so. I'll finish it when I finish it, and then... Yeah. I have more. Like, I was going through when I was cleaning up my office, and I found the rest of the yarn that this had come with, and there's like 2 more blankets worth in there, all in like those ones are pastel-y colors of Patons. So I might go to Michael's because they're having another like 50% off coupons or whatever, and
They do that like every other week.
I know. So I should grab a couple of like navy blues or something to just tone down the crazy pastel-y stuff.
You could just have it be a pastel blanket. Like there are kids like
yeah, I guess babies wouldn't.
Well,
work for
babies and like also like little girls. Surprisingly,
yeah.
Like I want to think that we're being raised with like more powerful jewel tones, but like,
hey, you can be powerful and still like pastel pink.
Sort of. At a certain age, I don't know. But yeah, so. Yeah, I don't know. You could tone it down, but like you can also just leave it.
Yeah, I'll see. I mean, I have to figure out. I think for those ones, I really want to do the crochet granny stripe blanket that everyone has been doing with their sock yarn. And so those ones, I think it'll just depend on how I decide to put the colors together. I might have to grab 1 or 2 other colors. Although Monique keeps telling me just wait and we'll get more donated, so maybe I'll do that too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Either that or you could just get it at the guild sale. What did I do to my hair?
I am not supposed to buy any more yarn though, because I'm doing the pre-processed knitters stash down, which is it's a Ravelry group, and that was started by a friend of mine who lives in Surrey now. But the whole goal is that you count how much yardage comes in and how much yardage goes out, and at the end of the year you're supposed to be in very high negative numbers. Yep. And there's a spreadsheet of doom, that as they call it, to record your numbers on. And so far I'm in negative numbers, but I need to stay there, which means no more buying yarn.
Yeah, the Little Yellow Uke's doing a similar thing.
Yeah, I'm sure lots of people do them.
I'm just counting my Ravelry stash entries for simplicity.
Yeah.
Because I would like to get that to a smaller number. But that does mean, like, a sweater's quantity of yarn counts for, like, the same as a pair of socks does.
Yeah.
So,
wait, how does that work?
Well, no, like, okay, because the Ravelry, if you're doing a sweater all in one color, and it's all the same yarn, on Ravelry, it's 1 yarn entry in your stash.
Oh, I see. So it's like this number of stash entries. It's not.
Yeah, like they're
okay.
in the little yellow uke group. You can do it however you want. That's
Right.
just how I'm doing it because honestly, I just don't want to do the math about how much
Right.
yardage is in my stash. So I'm just going by entries. Because also once I use yarn for a project, like the scraps, I take them out of my stash and they just go in a bin.
Right.
But yeah, so I just want to get, I think it was like 226 entries in like November. I did put it on Instagram, so I did publicly shame myself, and I just was like, I'd like to get less of it in. I did buy yarn, I just didn't bring it with me.
Oh, wait, what did you get? Do I know what?
Yes, you did. I got the cone, and then I got sock yarn. I just didn't bring any of it.
I sold it to you. I should know.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were doing acquisitions or not, so I didn't.
Oh yeah, I think my note in the acquisitions before, but I took it out, was that I'm actually gonna go. I need to go through my stash again, and I might be selling more of my stash because it's at guilt-inducing levels. My terrifying. I did do the calculation of yardage, and I have almost 100,000 meters of stash, which is kind of scary.
That is scary.
So I really need to. A lot of them are cones because I have cones of yarn, like coned wool that I bought for my knitting machine. That, oh yeah, I'll just whip off a ton of blankets. Didn't happen. I can still do it, but I just have to get there. So
for sure. Okay, we'll take a
ramble.
quick break, and then we'll come back with store news. We have news.
Woo.
I need like things for each section. I think just like weird.
Yeah,
I have news. We have. What do you want to do first? Do you want to do new yarn? Do you want to do other news?
Let's do other news, and then we can go on with the fun new yarn afterwards. So we had our first meeting of the Brown Bag Sock Club on Saturday. Yay! And everybody seemed to really like their sock yarn, and or was able to trade for one, so they did really like.
I got Ravenclaw sock yarn. It was great.
And I really want to cast mine on, but I can't. I'm not allowed. 6 pairs of socks. Must stay with the 6 pairs of socks. But then the next thing I'll cast on will probably be those. And then, so the next meeting of the Brown Bag Sock Club is February, I think it's the 18th. We will publicize. Yes, there we go. Magic date across the bottom.
Me of the future.
And then on Saturday, Jane Richmond is coming to visit us.
Yay!
So hopefully, I don't know if will this be up before then. Hopefully it'll be up before then. Otherwise that'll be old news.
I'm gonna try and start the editing tonight because I don't have plans. So,
so yeah, Jane will be here on Saturday from noon until 5. She's bringing her 2. I think she's got at least 2 samples of the West Coast cardigan.
Yeah.
So if you are making one as well, bring yours along, and you can talk to Jane about it and show it off.
Well, she's bringing her work in progress, and then her original one, and then I think she's also bringing her Clark pullover.
Oh, cool.
Although I need to return her email.
That's all right. She's not leaving till Saturday morning. I'm picking her up at the ferry. So, yeah. So come by and say hi, and we're gonna try and get. If you've been in the store, we have one big table that's always out, and I think we're gonna set up the second big table so that we can have lots of seating space. And if you have a portable chair,
yeah, we'll see. On Instagram we'll put out how the chair situation is.
Yes, we only have 17 chairs, so
actually
not even, because some of them are technically footstools.
I'll just wear roller skates and just skate around the store all day, and then everyone can have my chair.
There you go. Yeah. So, and then we got a whole bunch of new yarn in. It seems like we got. Well, we're sitting here staring at 3 big boxes of as yet unpacked yarn. We only got partway through them yesterday and the day before. Guess what she's doing all day?
Knitting?
No. All right, so go ahead and show the one in your hand, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm just sitting here playing with this.
If you saw our Instagram post with the big brown burlap sack of yarn, this is we keep it.
Yay!
And this.
So we're now carrying Briggs and Little. Yeah. We have their Heritage and
the tag.
And their super.
And this is the super tag. It is a super bulky, as the name suggests.
So I knit.
It's actually really soft. I was thinking of it as scratchier than it is.
You want to just touch my sweater for a bit, and then you'll know how scratchy that actually is. So the super is an amazing yarn. I used it to knit a pair of mucklucks, the pattern by Tin Can Knits, over a year ago, and they look brand new because
it's really hard wearing.
Yeah, it's I think 6 plies and a very tight twist.
I say 4.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Sorry,
4 plies. No, it's a lot of plies. but it's a very tight twist, so it makes a very round yarn. And because of the multiple staple lengths in the wool, like it's not any type of wool specifically, it's because it's got a bunch of different lengths in the wool, it wears amazing. So you can knit sweaters out of it. It is a thing that has happened in the past.
It would be a very outdoorsy, warm sweater.
Very rustic, kind of like the Lopi, where it's like a jackety type.
Yeah, it's not quite as thick as the Sea Fusion. Oh, and I was just thinking, if you're not familiar with Briggs & Little, because if you're not Canadian, you might not know. So, because we already stock the custom woolen mills, which is, it's a more than 100-year-old mill that's based in Alberta, just outside of Calgary. And so Briggs & Little is over 150 years old, and they are based in, and I was typing this, it's York Mills, New Brunswick. And so you can actually go, one of our customer friends, Becca, her family lives out in New Brunswick, and so she gets to go to the mill all the time, and I'm so super jealous. But yeah, so this, and I believe that it's mostly, I don't know if it's Eastern Canadian sheep. It's Canadian sheep as well.
And if it is Eastern sheep, then we've got the whole country covered. So you get custom woolen mills with Western sheep.
Yes, Western. They call it Western Prairie, but I think it's BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, maybe Manitoba. I'm not sure.
It's probably cheaper to ship than stuff in Manitoba to Briggs & Little.
Yeah. I don't know.
So we now have the 2 major mills in Canada covered. And yeah, so I was saying about the super. You can knit sweaters with it, but it makes amazing slippers, baskets. Like if you wanted to do like thrummed mittens, actually went really cold places.
I really want to do a knitted basket. There were a couple of patterns going around, or crocheted ones even, and I think so we got some colors that are sort of like home decor friendly. You could do a rug with it too if you wanted to actually be really good carpet yarn.
Yep. So it's amazing. And then the heritage, here I'll hold mine up. We got
the color's gonna go all weird on this one.
Why don't do that? We're already having. I just wanted to. So we got a bunch of them. That's the Marl colorway. So anyone who was in love with my sock monkey sweater before I had to destroy it, you can knit your own.
Yeah.
The heritage is a worsted / Aran weight. Also, they're all behind me.
The big wall of heritage.
I want this one. I'm like actively trying not to buy a sweater quantity of it to knit the second Grace by Bristol Ivy that's been like lurking on the front page of Ravelry. Clearly I haven't been mentally knitting it.
Of course not.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an amazing like sheepy wool and I love it and I'm so excited that we currently have it, and it also makes a good whacking stick.
And actually, yeah, the sweater I showed earlier, I'm looking at it beside me, which you can't see, the Sheboygan, that was Atlantic, which is another Briggs & Little yarn. It's just a bulky weight that we're not carrying at the moment, but yeah, anyway, we may at some point expand our options.
Yeah, so that's exciting. More Canadian wool options.
I like having lots of Canadian wool. Oh yeah, so while you're reaching, because mine's handier.
Oh, but this is Canadian though.
Oh, okay.
I had a transition.
Okay.
So speaking of Canadian wool, we are now carrying
Canadian not wool.
Well, yeah, okay, Canadian wool yarn companies. We're now carrying the Hempton by Hemp for or Lana.
It's Hemp for knitting, but Lana Knits is kind of the company name.
So it's a cotton hemp modal blend.
And I looked up modal. It's basically a rayon-like material that is made from beech trees.
Yeah. So it's our new plant fiber for the upcoming spring season. And I love this gray so much. It's so soft.
This is a double knit weight yarn, and I think like I was looking at Jane Richmond's Gemini, which is that it came out free on Knitty a couple of years ago. We used to carry the linen that was originally knitted, which was a cotton linen blend, and now but this would work really well for that as well.
Yeah, and like I think hemp, because it does not feel like hemp. It's very very nice
really
and soft. But I think because of the hemp, it would wear really well because hemp is a better wearing fiber than cotton is.
And you actually look them up on Ravelry too. Just look for Hemp for knitting because they have a lot of really really good patterns that they do as well.
Yeah.
And so you can always make their patterns with their yarn if you really want to.
That's true. Okay. You can now talk about yours.
Okay. And then we also got this one, which is Cadia Ombre. Put the light sides up together. And these are gradient kits from Cadia, which is the Spanish yarn company. I'm not taking them out of the plastic bags because then they just get lost. That's upside down. Talent. And so there's 6 colors in each one. And there's 85 meters per color. So, it actually comes with, you can see the pattern there, the shawl. It comes with that garter stitch shawl pattern. We also have one I can give you to print out. There's a crochet version, and there's one with feather and fan.
interesting.
that you can do as well. But there's so many gradient shawls out there right now. I mean, this would work for like any of those.
Yep.
What's the one that there's on the Spice Market, and then there's a couple of hoagie ones that I think the grocery girls were doing recently.
Probably. They've got
Recently,
a
as in
couple.
last fall.
You could also like use it in like a sweater if you wanted,
Yeah.
like the funky grandpa that has like
Oh yeah.
a gradient. So yeah, no, if you want to try.
It's a sport weight sort of heavy fingering, so I think if you had like a hand-dyed fingering yarn, would work really well with it if you wanted to pair it with something.
Or like we have the Cascade Heritage. I think
yeah.
we're talking about the fact that would probably work really nice.
Yeah, it would actually. And that way you could, have your gradients with a solid of some sort, or a speckle or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're really fun. So they come in green and reds, oranges. There's a black and gray one. There's browns, blues, and purples. They are all. I made sure they're all on the website now, so you can go and check them out on the. I think they're even on the front page of the website right now.
Ooh, that's exciting.
So yeah, you can go and look at them.
So speaking of gradient kits,
bags.
This is gonna be noisy. I'm really sorry.
These ones we also can't take out of the plastic.
So we got shade bags from Holzgarn in our newest order. So they are the same idea. They're 100 grams, so
It's 5 or 10 grams of each of 5 colors, and so it's about 57 meters.
That
color.
does not help. Okay, so greens, blues, and then this really fun
I love that
kind
one.
of color.
So cool.
So yeah, you can use these obviously with the super soft. If you want to make a bigger thing, you could do same sort of. This is so glary, but you can't take them out of the thing. But yeah, so we have shade bags from Holzgarn, but we also got new colors.
Those might not be on the website yet.
Glenda will get them there soon.
I did bring the camera in today so I can continue with my photography.
Perfect. So we got new colors. I just grabbed a couple. We got new colors of the coast. So this one is apparently a wine color. How do you say this one again?
Oh, that's cassis.
Cassis. I was saying it is Cassius.
It's I think it's cherry liqueur of some sort.
That's begonia, and then we're clearly in a spring place, so I just grabbed the spring colors, and that's freesia. I love this so much. The glare is really bad. I'm sorry. There you are. And then we also got new colors of the super soft. We got more than just the ones I'm showing, but it would just take too long to run through.
Yeah, they're
Run through all of them. But I'll link to the website in the show notes if you guys are interested. So we got this amazing Calypso color. Oh, that's washed out. That's not nice. It's brighter
it's
than
a
that.
very yellowy green.
It's
It's
much
really
better.
nice.
I'm like, maybe if I put it better closer to my hair, it'll do the thing. Yeah, so it's much greener in real life. That's never happened to us before. That's no fun. And then this one is Parma, which I think is based off of Parma violets, which is a weird UK candy.
Because
but I
Parma
love
ham
it.
is not that color, so
Yeah.
it's
So
the only other reference I could think of.
yeah, so that's that color. These ones would be 100% wool. And we have the new Tides yarn, which I want so bad.
Yeah, it's
Someone
really
please
nice.
come buy all of this color. Oh, it's so much yellower in real life. Oh, fail.
It's like a proper mustardy yellow. Well,
Yeah.
but not like French's mustard, but like proper homemade mustard.
It's closer to like that shade of yellow, but like it's brighter. I don't know, but it's beautiful. Please come buy this so I don't take it. And then the turquoise color. It's a little bit bluer, or not as blue.
Yeah.
It's greener, I guess. Okay, so the colors are way off today. Yay!
They're better on our, go to the website. The pictures are much better on the website.
Yes. But yes, we got these in. It is their new wool silk blend. It's a 70-30 wool silk. And we make amazing shawls. I really want to knit it's an Isabel Kramer Henley fingering weight version, essentially, of that.
Oh, I think it's Drift House, but it's in Dutch, so I can't pronounce it properly.
Yeah. Well, I want to knit a mustard Henley, but I'm not. That's a little bit.
Don't you have
closer.
a mustard
Yes,
sweater
quiet
of
you.
elephant
No.
tweed that needs
Quiet.
to be knit?
That's why I haven't bought it yet. Yeah, I know. So I have some mustard elephant tweed I need to knit up into a thing. Yeah, I'm clearly in a mustard place at the moment. Yeah, I need to knit up a couple more sweater quantities. So if you guys want to come buy this before I finish a couple more
Take it
sweaters.
away from her as fast as you can.
Okay, so I think is all the new yarn.
We have new colors of other yarns that we've carried before, like new Merino Supreme, and there's new Azteca colors, and somewhere in there's some new tradition colors in those boxes that I'm looking at
We
behind
have
the
some
camera.
new 6-ply sock yarn. We have a cotton wool elastic sock yarn. that we got if you're in a sock place for the sock hop.
I did
which
my...
is still happening, which I didn't put in the notes,
Oh,
I realized. Yeah. So anyone who's still knitting socks and sweaters and stuff, yay, I've completely...
I've been watching the sock hop thread on Ravelry. There's some really cool socks coming up.
Yeah. So just as a refresher, still running January 1st, end of March. Knit an adult-sized pair of socks, full length, no whips, preferably, so Glenda doesn't get to enter anything.
I don't get to enter anyway.
Yeah, so it's okay.
I really wanted to post some pictures on the sweater thread. I'm like, no, I can't, because Bernadette will get mad at me for throwing off the numbers.
You can do it in the chatter thread. You just can't do it in
the finished object.
Yeah,
thread.
I don't draw anything from the chatter thread. So yeah, knit an adult-sized pair of socks. If you want to knit ankle socks, it has to be 2 pairs and count for an entry, because it's the same amount of knitting in my brain. And then we're also doing the year-long sweater challenge. You don't have to knit 12 sweaters, but you can knit up to 12 sweaters. You could knit 1 sweater and just enter it for prizes. It has to be categorized as an adult sweater on Ravelry, in like the sweater category. It can't be like a vest. It can't be a poncho. It has to have some sort of arm thing. If you have questions about it, once again, you can ear burn me on Ravelry. But yeah, enter your sweaters throughout the year. I'm thinking we should do like quarterly draws, or at least one halfway through the year for that one.
The sweater one for sure.
Yeah. We have yet to figure out what prizes are. If anyone wants to give us prizes, you're totally welcome to, but we'll come up with something. Maybe I'll sew more bags.
I have
tends
all
to be
those.
The way to go.
I have my shocking number of fat quarters that will have to become bags, so I'll see what I can do.
Good fun. Okay, did you have anything else to add? Or
No,
are we all good?
I think that's all.
Oh, no, we do have one more thing to add.
Do we?
Well, I do. So with Jane coming on Saturday, we're going to try and film a little mini episode. It's not going to be anything too terribly formal, just so everyone who can't be here can see what's going on. And yeah, so hopefully I will have that up Tuesday at the latest. We'll see though. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great couple of weeks and happy knitting.
Bye.
Bye.